Hi, I'm China. Welcome to my channel. It's goal setting season, and today I'll be walking through how I set goals for 2024 using my Sterling Ink Common Planner. But before I do that, I want to do one final check-in and a little bit of reflection on the goals I set for 2023. So here is the goal setting spread that I made for 2023, and I have to give myself a little pat on the back because this is the first year that I've successfully tracked and made progress on my goals throughout the entire year, which I account to two different factors. The first is that I kept my goal planning very simple and I picked goals that were kind of low stakes. I have a reading goal, a travel goal, a savings goal, and then I also wanted to pick a goal that is focused on community service. The second factor is that I use the SMART goal setting process, which is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And I've used this process for years at work, and I don't know why it wasn't until 2023 that I thought, if I can use this process in my career and reach my goals, why don't I apply this to my personal life? But I'm glad I did. Here I am. So I'm going to walk through how I use this process for one of my goals, which is my reading goal. And then I'll go through how I did on the other three goals that I set for this year. So for 2023, I set a reading goal of 15 books, and I made this goal specific and measurable by putting an exact number of books that I wanted to read, and 15 books seemed reasonable for me. I didn't say, oh, I want to read more this year than I read the year before, or I want to make sure that I read once a month. Putting a specific number to this goal made it easier for me to conceptualize and kind of break down how much reading I needed to do each month. I also made this measurable by making this little book tracker that I inserted into my Happy Planner. This was inspired from a video by Planning with Bumble, and I wrote down each of the books as I completed them throughout the year. And that really helped me track and see where I was at the moment and if I needed to read a little bit more to reach my goal by the end of the year. I made this goal achievable by being realistic and looking at how much I read the year before in 2022. Last year I read 9 books, so I challenged myself to read 15, which seemed reasonable with the speed and the time that I have for reading. It would be really unreasonable or unachievable for me to read 9 books the year before and then make up a completely unachievable goal of saying, oh, I'm going to read 100 books this year. That is obviously not going to work. I'm also in a book club and we tend to read 1 book per month. So I had an accountability system already set in. And so I just took reading 1 book a month would be 12, and then I could do a little extra reading on my own, which would be 15. And then this goal is relevant to me. I've been a reader most of my life. I kind of fell off when I went to undergrad, but in grad school, reading really helped me kind of get out of the science brain that I'm in all the time. That's when I joined my book club, and that's when I started reading a lot more. So it's not like I didn't like reading and I was just forcing myself to read because I saw other people do it. It's something that I enjoy to do. And so making a goal that's relevant to you gives you better chances of actually following through with this goal throughout the year. And then time bound, I just knew that I wanted to achieve this reading goal by the end of the year. So I use that approach for the rest of my goals as well. When it comes to my savings goal, I wanted to save $10,500 this year. My partner and I have some pretty big plans. We were thinking about buying a house, maybe putting some money aside to get married in the future. So we each agreed that we would try to save a certain amount this year to put towards our future goals. This year I ended up saving roughly $9,480 and some change. And so I didn't reach my savings goal for this year, but even though I did, I think this is still a really big accomplishment for me. The year before, I only saved about $2,000, which I wanted to put into an emergency fund. So going from $2,000 to saving about 9,000 I'm really proud of myself, and I think it's important that even when you don't achieve your goals exactly, that you take some time to celebrate those small wins, those achievements that you had, even if you didn't meet your goal. I also set a travel goal for this year, and I was very specific. I didn't say that I just wanted to travel internationally or that I wanted to travel more this year. My partner and I picked a specific location, which was Mexico City, and then I also said that I wanted to do one domestic trip. Unfortunately, I ended up getting really sick this year. I had to have major surgery, and I wasn't able to travel internationally, but we did do one domestic trip. We went to Hawaii, and then I also was able to celebrate my friend's birthday in Puerto Rico with her. So again, even though I didn't meet half of this goal, I still got to have some wonderful experiences along the way. And lastly is the goal for volunteering. I really like the idea of setting a community service oriented goal, since I think organically goal setting can be very self-centered, which is absolutely okay. It should be. But I thought it would be good to look outwards for goal setting. And I wanted to volunteer one time a month. And this year I was able to volunteer 7 out of 12 months of this year. Part of that was due to having surgery and not being able to do any heavy lifting for about 6 to 8 weeks. And then I have to be honest, I really fell off when it came to November and December. I got caught up in the holiday hustle and bustle. So now that I've reflected on my 2023 goals, let me show you how I set up my goals for 2024 in my Common Planner. And again, I also want to say that I think it's important to celebrate the small victories, even if you didn't meet your goals this year. The fact that you set them and then were consistent with tracking them and making progress really means a lot, and you should be proud of yourself and give yourself a round of applause and a little pat on the back. So let's go to the Common Planner. All right, so here I have my Sterling Ink Common Planner, which is what I'll be using as a catch-all for 2024. And I'm excited to dive in. I love that there is a goal breakdown spread already set up in this planner. Prior to that, I was using a Happy Planner Mini, or I'm currently using for 2023. And the way that I would track my goals is either by, making these inserts here for tracking my books, and then I would also do some tracking on my currently pages. So I would write how much I needed to save that month, how much I needed to read, that I needed to volunteer, and I would check off once I've done those things. And then I would also write down here exactly the book that I was reading. So I'm glad to have kind of a bird's eye view of my goals that I set for myself, all on one spread, easy for me to find. So the way that this goal breakdown works is that you have a column here for your someday goal, what that looks like in 1 year, half a year, quarterly breakdown, monthly, weekly, and daily. And I can see this format being very functional for those who need to have daily action items in order to reach their larger goal. This doesn't necessarily work for me. I know myself, and let's say for my reading goal, if I say, oh, I have to read 5 pages a day, life gets busy, and for some reason, as soon as I say I miss that first day where I did not read those 5 pages, it's like that goal never even exists for me. It's like, what goal? What book? I don't know. So I don't want to set myself up for failure this way. I'm actually going to modify this spread to fit my needs. So I've already filled out this side of the goal setting spread. Goal setting is very personal for me, so I wanted to make sure that I took some time and really thought about what I wanted to do. And you'll see that some of the goals here are the same categories as they were for 2023. I love looking at goal progress over the years, and so I have something to compare my progress to from year to year to year. So I have here these removable boxes by Panache Planner, and I just wrote on them the categories that I wanted to have at the top. So the first column is going to be the goal category that I selected. So I have a reading goal, a savings goal, a travel goal, a serving goal, and then I added one more goal for mental health. I feel like 5 is easy to manage, and I didn't want to force myself to pick another goal just to say that I filled out the the spread. It's okay to leave some blank pages or space on the page. The next column is going to be for the goal itself. And I stuck to the same SMART goal planning system where I have specific and measurable items for each category. So my reading goal is to read 25 books. I thought that that was reasonable since I read 18 books this year. It would still give me a challenge, and it comes out to about 2 books per month, which seems manageable to me. My savings goal is to save $10,000 this year. I decreased it from the $10,500 because I am going to be setting up a sinking fund so that I have a separate storage of money for traveling. Which brings me to my next goal, which is to travel to Italy. My partner and I decided that we were going to try again for an international trip. Fun fact about me is that I didn't even have a passport until 2020, and no one was really doing a lot of traveling that year. So I've never been out of the country, so I'm really excited. We picked a spot, Italy, to go to, so that's going to be my travel goal for this year. I still like having a community service goal, so I'm sticking with volunteering 1 time a month. And then my mental health goal was heavily inspired by my therapist. I tend to overschedule myself and I'm a people pleaser, so I needed to take or reserve 1 week in a month just for me. And that's for me to rest, to catch up on household things, to do absolutely nothing, to do something I want to do. I'm really excited for this mental health goal here. The next column that I have, I relabeled as my why. This is the reason why I want to set this goal in the first place. And I think that having this in your goal planning spread is important. And it's something that you should ask yourself while you're setting your goals. I find that when I set goals and I don't have a reason for why I set them, or this reason why I set them doesn't have anything to do with my morals or values. Maybe I'm setting them because I saw some other people set these goals and there's a trend right now, or someone told me that I need to do this type of thing in order to be productive, or even if I'm trying to change my way or myself or force myself to be a way that's not inherent to me. Those are the goals that I'm less likely to stick with throughout the year. So I went through each of my goals and I wrote the reason why I am pursuing those goals, and it's also good to have them here for moments when you feel a little bit unmotivated and you need a little extra push in pursuing your goals. So really quickly, my reading goal, the reason why I want to read 25 books is that this year I want to explore different genres of books and also discover some new authors. I can kind of get stuck reading the same types of books, and I'd like to break out of that this year. And the reason why I want to take 1 weekend for myself each month is because I want to take back control of my life. I can be a people pleaser, and if someone asks me to do something, I'm likely to take time from myself, time that I put away for rest or to do some activities that I want to do, and I'll give that to someone else. So having this goal here will help me kind of come back to myself and make sure that I'm living the life that I want and doing the things that I want to do. So I highly recommend putting this somewhere in your goal setting spread or somewhere in your planner, whatever you're using to track your goals. And that brings me to the second half of this spread where it has quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I made some labels, and I'm going to be using these categories to do some tracking. And I've labeled these quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And I'm going to write down how I'm making progress on my goals, and I'll have it all here in one spread. So for quarter 1, if I read 2 books, I'll put 2 books here. If then I read 3 books in quarter 2, I'll have the 2 books plus 3, and that means I'll have 5 books here. And this will just be a way that I can track my goals over the quarter, see how I'm progressing, and see if I need to change anything about the way that I'm approaching my goals. Maybe I need to read a little bit more. in quarter three than I did in quarter two, or I have a little bit more space to either go past my goal. I am really looking forward to having all of this as a bird's eye view, especially in conjunction with the fact that in the Sterling Ink Common Planner, there's this quarterly breakdown where you have your priorities and then each of the months here in that quarter. And I will use this to do monthly tracking and then add up all the monthly tracking to put within the quarter. So I can't wait to dive in. I'm really, right now, at least excited and motivated about pursuing my goals for 2024. I'm glad that I'll have everything here versus scattered around in my planner or in my currently pages. And I'm hoping that setting my goals in this way will make me more successful and I can reach those savings, travel, and serving goals this year that I didn't meet in 2023. So I hope that this video is helpful to those who are setting goals for 2024 or someone like myself who struggles with goal setting. You're not alone. I'm right there with you. Let me know in the comments below how you did on your goals for 2023. Are there any goals you're excited to tackle in 2024? And any techniques that you might have for setting goals that you think might be helpful for me and anyone else in the community. Thank you again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!